Hare Krishna, thank you for joining. Let's do Radha Madhav. Jayo Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunj Bihari, Jai Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunj Bihari, Jaya Gopijana Vallabha, Jai Giravardhari. Jai Gopijana Vallabha, Jai Giravardhari. Shodanandana Vrajjana Ranjan, Shodanandana Vrajjana Ranjan, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Jayo Radha Madhava, Jayo Kunj Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Gyantimirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakya Chakshu Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Staptam Yena Bhutle Sam Rupa Kadameham Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapada Kamalam Shri Guru Mesamsha Shri Rupam Se Grajatam Sagana Raghunathunitam Tam Sajiv Sadvetam Savadutam Krishna Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Scha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kant Radha Kant Namastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sutadevi Pranmami Hari Priye Vanchakalpato Vireshcha Kirpa Sindhuvevacha Paditana Pavanibhyo Vaishnavu Namo 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 Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Risitarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasti Go Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukham Kroti Vachalam Pangum Layate Grim Yat Kirpata Mandashi Gurundin Taranam Paramananda Manashitaneshram Hariyam Tassat Narayan Namaskritya Naram Cheva Naruttam Devi Sasutya Santato Jimaduriya Nastava Shabdasha Nitma Seva Bhakti Utrishloke Bhakti Bhavati Nestiki. Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining. Let's continue this chapter 12. And last time we were talking about the saintly kings, dynasties, and we were talking about, first of all, Parikshit Maharaj, and then we added the dynasty because his lineage is from Yudhishthira Maharaj. We were talking about Yudhishthira Maharaj and how they were emperors of the world, and how they looked after their citizens. And now we'll just continue from verse 5 onwards. Sampada Kratavoloka Mahishi Brataro Mahi Jambudvip Dipatyam Cha Yashas Cha Tridipam Gatam. So Sampada, opulence, Kritvaha, sacrifices, Lokaha, future destination, Mahishi, the queens, Bharataraha, the brothers, Mahi, the earth, Jambudvip, the globe or planet of our residence, Adi Patnyam, sovereignty, Cha also Yash, fame, Cha and three Divam, celestial planets, and Gatam spread over. So news even reached the celestial planets about Maharaj Yudhishthira's worldly possessions, the sacrifices by which he would attain a better destination, his queen, his stalwart brothers, his extensive land, his sovereignty over the planet Earth, his fame, etc. So we're still talking about Maharaj Yudhishthira. Only a rich and great man's name and fame are known all over the world, and the name and fame of Maharaj Yudhishthira reach the higher planets because of his good administration, worldly possessions, glorious wife Draupadi, strength of his brothers Bhima and Arjun, and his solid sovereign power over the world known as Jambudvip. So not only is he important, it's important that who your family is, how they behave, and their character as well. That is all your assets. So here the word lokaha is significant. There are different lokas or higher planets scattered all over the sky, both material and spiritual. A person can reach them by dint of his work in the present life, as stated in Bhagavad-Gita 9.25. No forceful entrance is allowed there. The tiny material scientists and engineers who have discovered vehicles to travel over a few thousand miles in outer space will not be allowed entrance. That is not the way to reach the better planets. One must qualify himself to enter such happy planets by sacrifice and service. Those who are sinful in every step of life can expect only to be degraded into animal life, to suffer more and more the pangs of material existence, and this is also stated in Bhagavad-Gita 16:19. Maharaj Yudhishthira's good sacrifices and qualifications were so lofty and virtuous that even the residents of the higher celestial planets were already prepared to receive him as one of them. So he was very popular in other places as well, and he was welcome there any time that whenever he want to leave his body, he can go there. But a devotee doesn't want to go to any higher planets. They're a little bit better than this earth, but not that much better. There's still problems there as well. There's still life and death is also there. The lifespan might be longer, but they have a beginning and an end because it's still a material world. So I'm sure they choose a better destination than a celestial planet. Do you say? Yeah. So this is the terrestrial planets where we are on Earth. This is terrestrial, and then the heavenly planets are celestial, and then Goloka and Vaikuntha is spiritual planets. We have three categories of planets. We are at the moment in the terrestrial planets, and then heavenly abodes are celestial, known as celestial beings, celestial planets, and then spiritual beings and spiritual planets are Krishna Lok, where it's like totally different. There is no time concept or anything like that, as Krishna explains in Bhagavad-Gita. Okay, so Maharaj Yudhishthira was such an exemplary ruler that even the demigods got to know about it. Due to his qualification and character, the doors to the higher planets were already open. If our consciousness is Krishnized or Krishnatized, it will reflect in our words and actions. To go to the highest planet, Goloka, we need sacrifice service, as Srila Prabhupada mentioned. Even other planet systems, we need sacrifice and service. It's about our attitude, behavior, and action, where we end up. So next one. Kimte kama surspaharaha mukand manaso dvijaha Adi Jahrur Mudam Rajnaha Shudistasya Yathe Tare. So Kim, what for they all those Kamha objects of sense enjoyment, Sur of the denizens of heaven, Sparha, aspirations, Mukand Manasaha of one who is already God conscious, Dvijha of Brahmans, Adi Haruhu could satisfy, Mudam, pleasure, Rajnaha of the king, Shuditasya of the hungry, Yatha as it is, Ittare in other things. O Brahmanas, the opulence of the king was so enchanting that the denizens of heaven aspired for it. But because he was absorbed in the service of the Lord, nothing could satisfy him except the Lord's service. Here we go. So there are two things in this world, in the world, which can satisfy living beings. When one is materially engrossed, he is satisfied only by sense gratification. But when he is liberated from the conditions of material modes, he is satisfied only by rendering loving service for the satisfaction of the Lord. And this was the case with Maharaj Yudhishthira. This means that the living being is constitutionally a servitor and not one who is served. Being illusioned by the conditions of the external energy, one falsely thinks himself to be the served, but actually he is not served. He is servant of the senses like lust, desire, anger, avarice, pride, madness, and intolerance. In other words, we are constitutionally servants. We can either serve the Lord, we can serve the family or the country, we can serve the senses. We have to serve someone. That is our constitutional position. Not to be served, but to serve, whether we like it or not. Without even realizing it, we understand we were serving the mind. We have to serve something. That's just the way things are. So one falsely thinks himself to be the served, but actually he is not served. He is servant of the senses, like lust, desire, anger, avarice, pride, madness, and intolerance. When one is in his proper senses, by attainment of spiritual knowledge, he realizes that he is not the master of the material world, but is only a servant of the senses. At that time, he begs for the service of the Lord and thus becomes happy without being illusioned by so-called material happiness. Maharaj Yudhishthira was one of the liberated souls, and therefore for him there was no pleasure in a vast kingdom, good wife, obedient brothers, happy subjects, and prosperous world. So what more could anybody could want when you got everything? These blessings automatically follow for a pure devotee, even though the devotee does not aspire for them. The example set in herein is exactly suitable. It is that one who is hungry is never satisfied by anything other than food. The whole material world is full of hungry living beings. The hunger is not for good food, shelter, or sense gratification. The hunger is for the spiritual atmosphere. Due to ignorance only, they think that the world is dissatisfied because there is not sufficient food, shelter, defense, objects of sense gratification. This is called illusion. When the living being is hungry for spiritual satisfaction, he is misrepresented by material hunger. But the foolish leaders cannot see that even the people who are most sumptuously materially satisfied are still hungry. And what is their hunger and poverty? This hunger is actually for spiritual food. So we mistake it for sense gratification, spiritual shelter, spiritual defense, and spiritual sense gratification. These can be obtained in association of the Supreme Spirit, Lord Shri Krishna, and therefore one who has them cannot be attracted by the so-called food, shelter, defense, and sense gratification of the material world, even if they are relished by the denizens of the heavenly planets. Therefore, in the Bhagavad-Gita, it is said by the Lord that even in the topmost planet of the universe, namely the Brahmalok, where the duration of life is multiplied by millions of years by earth calculation, one cannot satisfy his hunger. Such hunger can be satisfied only when the living being is situated in immortality. which is attained in the spiritual sky, far, far above the Brahmlok, in the association of Lord Mukunda, who gives liberation. The Lord who awards his devotees the transcendental pleasure of liberation. So in the material world, in other words, doesn't matter where we are, from hell to Brahmalok, we cannot find satisfaction. It can only be found in the spiritual world, where we are in our true identity. Because here we just got different identities, and it's not our natural residence, and it's not our natural identity. So how can we be happy? We are out of place. We cannot be happy here. So just to explain, everyone has a price. Conditioned souls controlled by the three modes of nature have a price. Material energy knows the price and will entice you. So material energy knows where to hit you. It knows your weaknesses. It knows what you're worth. But there is no price to betray Krishna. Only if you are controlled by the senses, you have a price. Maharaj Yudhishthira only wanted to satisfy Krishna. Nothing else was satisfying to him. So when you realize that you are not the master but the servant of the senses, lust and greed, one begs the Lord regarding his dangerous position. One begs the Lord for service to save him. That's when he becomes happy. Even if the Lord may give him everything, his real interest is to serve. So everything comes with it, part of the package of the servant. So the job is there, but we have to understand that we want the job. So something about spiritual atmosphere. The soul is hungry for spiritual environment. That's the real hunger, but we don't understand. We get it mixed up with sense gratification or material sense gratification. That is its food. The whole world is hungry for this. We try to satisfy ourselves with wrong type of food for the senses. So temples are managed to create this atmosphere. So this is why we have. So they can provide this food for the spiritual food that we actually seeking. So temples are managed to create this atmosphere. This is the duty of all leaders as leaders of family or community or temples. Srila Prabhupada created the spiritual atmosphere across the globe. So this is why he built temples everywhere. When people think, oh, Srila Prabhupada, you have so many temples, why do you need more temples? Well, this is one reason. Because you want spiritual atmosphere all over the world. It should be there. That's the food for the senses. We need to create a spiritual atmosphere for those who are interested in spiritual atmosphere. If we create artificial means to attract souls, you will get a lot in the beginning, but slowly they will all leave. Because material sense pleasure is temporary. It will come and go. Spiritual atmosphere not only endures, but it's ever increasing. Anandam buddhi vardhanam. So that's the difference between material and spiritual. The spiritual sweetness just increases and increases, whereas material taste, what is nectar at first becomes poison later, whereas it's the other way around. With the spiritual, what may taste bitter at first, but once we get used to the taste, it becomes sweeter and sweeter. Number 7. Matu garbgato viraha satada vrigu nandana dadarash purusham kanchid daya mano astra tejasa. So Mathu, mother, Garb, womb, Gatha, being situated there, Viraha, the great fighter, Saha, child, Prikshit, Tada, at that time, Brigu Nandan, or son of Brigu, Dadrasha, could say Purusham, the Supreme Lord, Kanchit, as someone else, Dayamanaha, suffering from being burned, Astar, the Brahmastar, Tejasa, temperature. So we're coming back again. O son of Brigu, thus Shonakrisi. When the child Prikshit, the great fighter, was in the womb of his mother Uttara, he was suffering from the burning heat of the Brahmastra thrown by Ashwatthama. He could observe the Supreme Lord coming to him to rescue him. Death generally involves remaining in trance for 7 months. A living being, according to his own action, is allowed to enter into the womb of a mother by the vehicle of a father's semen, and thus he develops his desired body. This is the law of birth in specific bodies according to one's past actions. When he is awake from trance, he feels the inconvenience of being confined within the womb, and thus he wants to come out of it, and sometimes fortunately prays to the Lord for such liberation. So that once the consciousness awakens, so you're sort of lying in dormant, and when the consciousness awakens, the child wants to come out. So where am I? Wants to come out of the womb. And Maharaj Parikshit, while in the womb of his mother, was struck by the Brahmastra released by Ashwatthama, and he was feeling the burning heat. But because he was a devotee of the Lord at once appeared himself within the womb by his all-powerful energy, and the child could see that someone else had come to save him. Even in that helpless condition, the child Parikshit endured the unbearable temperature due to his being a great fighter by nature. And for this reason, the word Veera has been used here. So that's amazing. He was conscious, he could see Krishna coming to, he didn't know who it was, but he could see that somebody's there to help him. He felt so helpless there. And as I was saying earlier, that these Brahmastras, they would target, not like now the atom bombs will destroy everyone within a certain range of land. Whereas these Brahmastras, they would target a person wherever they were, he would go to them. So this is a 7. So it says that even in the womb of his mother, Maharaj Parikshit was fighting the Brahmastra. He had the blood of a warrior coming from a powerful Kshatriya dynasty lineage. He could also see that someone else is there, here to protect him. In this body, the first thing he saw was the Supreme Lord. So that means he opened his eyes, he saw the Lord in front of him before he even took birth. Amazing. So 8. Angustha matram amalam purat molinam apibhya darshanam shayamam tadid vasasam achyutam. So Angustha, by the measure of a thumb, matram only, amalam transcendental, spurat blazing, purat gold, molinam helmet, apibhya very beautiful, darshanam to look at, shayamam blackish, tadit lightning, vasasam clothing, achyutam the infallible Lord. So he gives the description of what he saw. The Lord, he was only a thumb high. This is the size of the super soul. But he was all transcendental. He had a very beautiful blackish infallible body, and he wore a dress of lightning yellow and a helmet of blazing gold. Thus he was seen by the child like that. Amazing. Children are attracted to colorful things and things that they see nowadays on TV. But Maharaj Parikshit, he saw the ultimate attraction there that anyone could imagine. So 9. Śrīmad-Dirgha Chaturbahum Tapta Kanchan Kundalam Shatchakasham Gadhapanim Atmana Sarvato Disham Paribhramanantam Ulkabham Brahmayantam Gadam Mahu. So Śrīmad enriched, Dirgha or Dirgha prolonged, Chatu Bahum 4-handed, Tapta Kanchan, it's like they say Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi. So molten gold, Kundalam earrings, Shattaj Aksham eyes with the redness of blood, Gada Panim hand with a club, Atmana on, Sarvatha all, Disham around, Paribhramantam loitering, Ulkabam like shooting stars, Brahma Yantam encircling, Gadam the club, Mohu constantly. So the Lord was enriched with 4 hands, earrings of molten gold, and eyes blood red with fury, as he loitered about his club constantly encircled him like a shooting star. So the Lord was like fighting off the radiation. It is said in the Brahma Samhita, chapter 5, well, that's all we have, chapter 5, Brahma Samhita, that the Supreme Lord Govinda, by his own plenary portion, enters into the halo of the universe and distributes himself as Paramatma, or the Supersoul, not only within the heart of every living being, but also within every atom of the material elements. Thus the Lord is all-pervading by his inconceivable potency, and thus he entered the womb of Uttara to save his beloved devotee Maharaj Parikshit. In the Bhagavad-Gita 931, the Lord assured everyone that his devotees are never to be perished or vanquished. No one can kill a devotee of the Lord because he is protected by the Lord. And no one can save a person whom the Lord desires to kill. Though Lord is all-powerful, and therefore he can both save and kill as he likes. So whatever he decides, nobody can go against his decision. He became visible to his devotee Maharaj Parikshit even in that awkward position in the womb of his mother, which was in a shape just suitable for his vision. The Lord can become bigger than thousands of universes and can become smaller than an atom at the same time. Merciful as he is, he becomes just suitable to the vision of the limited living being. He is unlimited. He is not limited by any measurement of our calculation. He can become bigger than what we think of, and he can become smaller than what we can conceive or even imagine. So you have the atom, and he's in every atom, so which means he's smaller than the atom. And atoms can even be split. You can split an atom, as the scientists demonstrated, and you can split it again in so many, just like Russian dolls. You open one, smaller one comes out, then you open that one, another smaller one, and that comes out. So whatever smaller, if you split the atom, make it even smaller and smaller and smaller, the Lord can still reside in there. He can be smallest of the smallest, so he can still be in there. So he becomes just suitable to the vision of the limited living being. He is unlimited. He is not limited by any measurement of our calculation. He can become bigger than what we think of, and he can become smaller than what we can conceive. But in all circumstances, he is the same all-powerful Lord. There is no difference between the thumb-like Vishnu in the womb of Uttara and the full-fledged Narayan in the Vaikuntha, the kingdom of Godhead. He accepts the form of Archa Vigraha, worshipful deity, just to accept service from his different incapable devotees. By the mercy of the Archa Vigraha, the form of the Lord in material elements, the devotees who are in the material world can easily approach the Lord, although he is not conceivable by the material senses. The Archa Vigraha is therefore an all spiritual form of the Lord to be perceived by the material devotees. Such an Archa Vigraha of the Lord is never to be considered material. There is no difference between matter and spirit for the Lord, although there is a gulf of difference between the two in the case of the conditioned living beings. For the Lord there is nothing but spiritual existence, and similarly there is nothing except spiritual existence for the pure devotee of the Lord in his intimate relation with the Lord. So we started with this. Maharaj Dishta, that he is only interested in serving the Lord. He's in that spiritual mood, and he's not a king that looking for maximum sense gratification. He's ordering everybody about and doing all sorts of nonsense, but his only mood is to serve the Lord as in spiritual mood. So Lord was in angry mood with his eyes, just to reiterate. he had his Sudarshan Chakra and his club. He had not just one weapon, but two weapons, actually. So he's using his chakra and his club. Krishna is all powerful. Actually, we never think about it like that, because he has the chakra in one hand and the club. So he always has two weapons. Krishna is all powerful and pervading. He can appear big or small according to his desire, suitable enough for his devotees to appreciate him. He appeared thumb size to Maharaj Parikshit. His size does not minimize his power. So it doesn't matter if he's atomic or size of a universe. His power is still same. He's all powerful. Since he's all pervading, nothing is hidden from him. So that is the conclusion for today. That how the Lord was protecting Maharaj Parikshit, because he had future plans for him, and he was not going to let him go like that, without taking birth and ruling the kingdom. Obviously, he had to take over once Yudhishthira, all the Pandavas leave. So eventually he would have to take over the Rajya. Somebody has to rule, and who better than Maharaj Parikshit? And he's already seen Krishna, and he's always looking for him. So he's already in that spiritual mood as well, and plus his upbringing is also like that. So Krishna had plans for him to rule the citizens. He had plans for him to have Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam recited by Shukadeva Goswami. So that was Krishna's plan all along. Anyway, and the Brahmins did say that this, he will go. He will have 7 days warning, and he will leave at some point. So that was already understood, and but nobody knew when that time will come. Although we'll have 7 days of notice, and that these things happen. So, but sometimes we don't even know. We got 7 seconds or 7 minutes. 7 days sufficient, because we all have to go at some point. Can't stay here. The body is deteriorating day by day, minute by minute, and it has to. Doesn't matter how old you get, it will just dwindle. Eventually, that's the 6 symptoms of the material body, that eventually dwindles and dies. That's the thing. So thank you so much, and let's hear from yourselves. Stop sharing. Hare Krishna. So we'll start with Kiran Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, everybody. It starts off from Yudhishthira, such an opulent Raja Rishi. And to become a Raja Rishi requires lifetimes of service. And this Raja Rishi was part of a lineage which Parikshit is a part of. And so it indicates that to get to an exalted position, time, effort, attention, and commitment has to be given. Qualification to enter the celestial planets is high. The qualification to enter the spiritual planets is even higher. We are currently on the terrestrial platform, and it illustrates that there are different realms, rungs of the ladder, different leagues we have to take part in. We may be in League Division 4 at the moment, but we have to make efforts to get to the Premier League. And that Premier League will give us access to the higher realms. Bhakti, devotion, will elevate the soul. Bhakti, devotion can bring us closer to the spiritual planets. That is the goal and the purpose of life. And that is what the Bhagavatam, the Gita, has been trying to show us, that effort through learning the Shastra, the philosophy, the japa, the sankirtan, the devotion, the worship, the association, gives us those opportunities. We have that choice. Be enticed by tinsel and trash of the material world, or have the opportunity of unimaginable joy and gratification that can occur through devotion and service towards spiritual alliance with divinity. Parikshit was part of the lineage, and hence he was protected. We are protected by Krishna because he will always protect his devotees. By virtue of making the effort of reciting, doing the bhakti, will give us a little kavach, a shield, which helps the protection in this material realm. Prabhupada came and developed a spiritual atmosphere through all those temples he created. And he gave us that opportunity to have those access to those environments, but we have to inculcate those atmospheres in our hearts and our minds and our homes. And hence that spiritual atmosphere can become prevalent at home and in the mandirs and the temples that we go to. This is a journey that takes a while. But the choice is we have to be reminded of the modes that we may be interacting in. The modes of goodness will make that journey a little bit more quicker, a bit more faster, and a bit more smoother. Ignorance and passion will only impede and hinder the progress. The Lord's magnanimous presence is massive. He is creator, creation, and creativity. He can be the size of a thumb, as Parikshit saw, or he can be Vamandev, who comes as a dwarf, and within 2 steps, he has taken over the whole of the universe. And Bali Maharaj was right. He said, the only thing I can now offer you is my head, because that's all we've got. And hence that offering of the final piece, the head, is a surrender. And if we surrender, we have the opportunity to realize that the Atma, which is just a sliver of a hair, and God, who can be the most biggest or the smallest, we can have an opportunity of a relationship with that Almighty Creator, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for this. Wonderful. Yeah, so Prabhupada explains that the temples are spiritual atmosphere, or the extension of the spiritual world, and then our homes, temples are extension of the temple. So spiritual atmosphere everywhere. And just wanted to mention that the higher planets, or the heavenly planets, I would say, they have like we have slightly different bodies. They're a bit more subtle. As you go up, the body becomes a bit more subtle. The age span is longer as well. Time is different as we're going higher. And the laws of karma are also slightly different as well on these higher planets. Because we are here on Earth. That's why everybody wants to come to Earth. This is a launching pad to the spiritual world. Difficult when you're up there. Like I said, the laws of karma are different. You have having too much fun up there. And they're like holiday resorts. The heavenly planets are like holiday resorts. When you're away on holiday, you let yourself go a little bit. And actually, even time you think the law in this country doesn't apply to us, and then until they lock you up for doing something stupid. But anyway, so law is slightly different up there, but you are actually on a holiday, and when your holiday runs out, they throw you back down again because you've got to vacate your room and come back to reality or earth. And this is the place where you can really practice spirituality, because it's like in a balance level, and it's got all the right ingredients for it's got the duality that we can understand and try and do the right thing. So we know when we're doing wrong, we'll suffer. When we do right, we'll enjoy. Trying to keep a balance and practice our spirituality at the same time. Thanks so much, Prabhu. And Tigina Mataji is listening only today, so we'll go to Ajay Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, so I think one thing that I've thought about reading from or hearing about the purports, it's quite interesting. It's just that how now with Parikshit we normally think how fearful it must have been that his situation being attacked by the Brahmastra. But if you actually think it's also quite glorious how wonderful it must have been to see Paramatma in front of him. You can understand why he became, his thinking was the way he was. He became known as Parikshit, the examiner, and spent his entire life looking for the Lord. Seeing the Lord that's first proper thing he's seen in his life. See the Lord in his four-armed form, seeing with his Sudarshan Chakra, the club, the beauty of the Lord, how glorious it is, how he's protecting him. It's a glorious experience to begin with, and it sets him up for his entire life, where he does lead a very saintly life, like as Raj Rishi, as Prabhupada mentioned by Kiran Prabhu. That's what these. I was in this particular dynasty, previous dynasties, that there were saintly kings there, so it's very much possible what you can achieve if you just take just from in the womb. You like a Prahlad Maharaj, an example. You take shelter of the Lord, all of a sudden everything just takes off, and the Lord is everything about the Lord is so glorious that you become, well, you wouldn't call it so glorious, but you become better just because associating with the unlimited, the all attractive, the glorious, everything. You see that with the devotees. When they are preaching about the Lord, when they are dancing, when during arti, or just their when they're just harinam, they're so happy, they look so enlivened. It's just because they've taken a shelter of the Lord, taken association of the Lord, taken association of devotees. And it's wonderful how something seemingly so simple, just chant the Maha Mantra, just read Shastra, just associate devotees can have such a positive effect on everyone, or not only yourself, but everyone around you as well. And it's just it's amazing. All it takes is a little bit of effort, and what is possible. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Radhan.
Hare Krishna. Good morning. My pranams to all of you. Yes, we're hearing the wonderful qualities, attributes of Parikshit Maharaj, what it takes to be a pure devotee of Lord Krishna. he knew his goals right from his inception, we could say. Before he was born, he had the darshans of Lord. And like in Bhagavad-Gita in 9.25, it said, Abrahma bhuvana loka punavartino Arjuna. So he was unattached to the worldly attachments right from the beginning. One who has got the audience of the Lord right at the beginning. They know their goal right, not like us that we have got a specific time allotted by our karma from the past life, that when our bhakti will commence again in a lifetime. So that wasn't the case with the Parikshit Maharaj, and he had everything perfect. So how much hard work he must have done in his last life. So, whenever you see somebody who is perfect, when you see the gymnasts performing or the, swimmers doing the synchronized swimming and everything, you think, wow, this is what automatically we think about. But how much hard work, how much practice, how much dedication, how much devotion to their skill has been put. So devotion is in every respect of life, and that shows clearly. And we have to have the spiritual hunger, just like Yudhishthira Maharaj had, and then Parikshit Maharaj, who came into the lineage. And then the futility of material desires, as we have seen in these devotees, they were surrounded with everything, but they were still called Rajrishis. That was also for this reason. And of course, the size of the super soul is described and how it looks like. So if we want to meditate now, isn't it so easy? If we are away from the temple or any situation, traveling, we have got the super soul in our heart. That description has been given to us. It's the size of a thumb, it's golden. So we can go back to that verse and have a look at it. So everything is there. Krishna is within us, traveling with us. He is with us with whatever we are doing. So when we know this secret, or when we know this, this truth, this supreme truth, that when He is in our hearts, then how can we do wrong? Even if we are going to do something wrong, we should correct ourselves immediately. That my Creator is in me. He's within myself, and He's watching me. He's the consciousness in me. So I have to use that higher consciousness for a higher purpose. I have to realize what is my purpose. Whatever else we are doing in this life is for the maintenance of the spiritual body, physical body, the gross body. And when we are devotees of Lord, the time expands, actually does expand. Sometimes you think, oh, I've got so many hours in the day to do this job or that job. But when your consciousness is in tandem, when you're totally aware of everything, you're not feeling upset or bewildered by small things in life. You understand what's the real purpose and how to go about it. Mind will try to take your thoughts astray for now and then, but that is also done by the three modes of material nature, and we have to just be patient with them. And yes, surrender is the acceptance of our karma from the last life. This is what surrender is. When people worry about surrender, what is surrender? I'm going to surrender to Lord. What is the surrender? Surrender is what karma we came to in this world with. We are dealing with that, and we are creating new by doing the wrong things. So if we understand that whatever is happening, it's my doing in some other life which I don't remember, but I have lived it. This is documented in our shastras that we didn't just happen by chance in this world. We desired to be, and now we have to desire the right things to go. The choice has been given. We want to go to the celestial planets to have longer life, longer fun, like the Swarga, or do we want to go to the ultimate spiritual planets where we won't have this physical body, physical disturbances, and we'll have, body just like Bhagwan there. Our bodies will be spiritual, no subtle, no gross, just spiritual bodies, and no problem in serving Lord, no concept of time. No, not that we are getting younger or older, or we're getting the time is of the essence, or this is happening, that is happening. No worries there. So why don't we want to go there? This is the million, like they say in the material world, this is the million now. I think million is nothing nowadays. A trillion, zillion dollar question, that why don't we want to go to the ultimate destination? So yes, thank you to Srila Prabhupada for making this Bhagavatam so easily accessible and understandable to us. I think without this purpose, these verses wouldn't mean anything to us. There'd be just something written in Sanskrit, which you just look at, and if you have learned Sanskrit, if you have invested years and years in Sanskrit, we would have understood a word here or there, but the deep meaning we would have never, because we wouldn't have done hard work like Srila Prabhupada has done, consulted so many shastras to bring us this purpose. So thank you, Srila Prabhupada, again in this beautiful month of Srimati Radharani, the Kartik month, the Damodar month. Yes, give us the strength to do the endeavor in our life, because mercy will come anyway. Krishna promises us everywhere. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thanks so much. Yeah, all the literature, spiritual literature that Prabhupada has given us, it comes through the lineage from the disciplic succession. There's no speculation involved in any part. If we were reading, trying to interpret ourselves, if we learned Sanskrit and trying to learn, we'd be just speculating. But there's no speculation involved. All this, Srila Prabhupada had got it from the previous Acharyas. They have written, the 6 Goswamis have written, and Lord Chaitanya, told them about this, God himself. So all the information, it comes through the lineage of the disciplic succession that we follow, and it's all very, very bona fide, and we have to believe in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. You have to believe in Bhagavad-Gita, believe in Chaitanya Charitamrita. It's all there, it's all bona fide information. There may be information that we cannot understand right now, or we might even disagree with. It's nothing wrong with the information, because scriptures are never wrong. The information is wrong, not wrong. It's just that we're not ready yet to accept it. Our consciousness is not purified enough to accept that knowledge, and so we don't reject it. We just put it to one side, that we're not ready to accept this part. But when the time comes, you will accept it. And I think a typical example is Krishna having 16,108 wives, and he's playing with the gopis who are wives of other men. Like that, people can misunderstand that. Is because that's why Srila Prabhupada said, don't jump straight onto Canto 10, because you're not ready mentally, you're not ready intellectually, you're not ready to understand it, you're not purified enough to understand that canto. So you got to, as you read, as you understand, your purification takes place, and then when you get to Canto 10, you understand everything, because there's a lot of things that we understood, a lot of things you accepted about Krishna, and most of all you accepted that he is God, and he does what he does, and he does it for his devotees, for their pleasure. We try to please Krishna by our means, and then Krishna pleases us back. It's not a servant-master relationship like in the material world. We're both trying to give pleasure to each other. Krishna comes as a simple cowherd boy to give pleasure to his devotees. So thank you all so much. We'll catch up again on Wednesday. Granth Raj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.